Duality is when you see everything in only two groups and you say, I like this one, so that's good. And then everything else that's different, you say that's bad. And everything is focused on that. So you see everything in life as only having two components. That's why it's called duality. Duality comes from the word duo, and duo is Latin for two. And when you only have two, you have the tendency to assign one a good label and the other one a bad label, and that's where you get into trouble. That's when you start thinking that positive is good and negative is bad, and that's not true. This universe is founded upon four elements, and they're not about which one is the best one. It's not like that. These four elements, they just work differently. They don't fight against each other or anything. They just work differently. And this is how the universe is created. So you see, it's not just two, it's more than two. Lakota Star Knowledge says it's going to always be at least three. At least. Most of the times it's four, but at least three. And many times it's more than four. But it's never, 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 ever just two. So duality is when you lose something. Lakota Star Knowledge says there's at least three components to reality. In duality, there's only two. Well, that means you're missing something. That means when you're dualistic, when you're a racist, when you say your way is the only way, when you say your religion is the only religion, when you say your race is the best race, the chosen race, when you talk like that, you're dualistic, and since you only see two components to reality, that means you do not see the complete reality. And this is the problem of today, duality. That's the main problem. And in duality, we don't take the time to check things out. We just judge it right away. We look at something or somebody and we say, oh, I don't like that. So that's evil. It must be destroyed. My favorite line from that movie called Steel Magnolias. You are evil. It must be destroyed. Shoot. Anyway, this is the problem that we have today. Duality creates everything that's problematic for everything, actually. It's not just for humans, it's also the problem for plants and animals and that which moves and grows, because all creation is connected. When you think that time only goes forward, and that the further you are, the better you are. So when you look at people behind you, the tendency is to think, I'm better than them. You're separating yourself from others, and now you create this concept of me against them. So now you see everything in two groups. The things that are like you, the things you like, and then the other group is everything else. The things you don't like. The things you think, because they're not at the same level as you, that they're not as smart as you. So from that thinking, you develop something called paternalism. Paternal meaning fatherly. That you think that you're above others. That you know what's right for others. If they just do what you say, everything will be good. See? That's paternalism. Then that expands out to your race. You think that because of whatever race you are, you think that your race is the best race. That everything else is stupid. It's racism. So racism comes from that. Then you start thinking your culture. And you say, okay, my culture is beautiful. and anything else is not. So you start judging other cultures. You look at other cultures' beliefs and you say, okay, if them guys only did this a different way, it would be better. See? Now you're judging other cultures by your culture standards. That's ethnocentrism. And then the fourth thing you develop, my way is the only way. That's dogma. Religion results from dogma. That means all of this is created by humans. It's not a natural way. This is something we learn, which means it can be unlearned. And this creates this concept of duality. And from duality comes these four things: paternalism, ethnocentrism, racism, dogma. And then you start applying this to emotions. And you say, okay, only happiness is good and everything else is bad. Yeah? And so you're always separating everything into two groups. That's why they use the word dual, which is a Latin word. And from that comes the word duality. So you see everything in your mind as having only two components. And guess what? When you think like that, you're creating good versus evil. But when you're thinking like that, you're not developed. Because the universe says there is always going to be at least three components to anything in any situation. In most cases, there's four. But it's always, always, always going to be at least three. If you believe in good versus evil, you are dualistic. And this is unhealthy. When people just focus on one emotion and they don't want to feel other emotions and they force themselves to only feel that one emotion, then they become addicted to it. And this, it creates duality. And then another way to create duality is only focusing on one part of the self, or giving one part of the self more attention than the other three, because there's four parts: the body, mind, the emotional self, and the soul. So if you just focus on one, you go dualistic there too. You separate everything into two groups. Everything you like, you say that's good, and everything you don't like, you say that's bad. So you always separate into two. In Lakota Star Knowledge, it's not that way. In Lakota Star Knowledge creation story, there are several organizations called Wakatanka. But in the beginning, there was only one. There was only one organization called Wakatanka. This is not God. We went through a Christianization experience on the reservation where our minds were basically made to be weak by not allowing us to leave the reservation, not allowing us to eat healthy food, not allowing us to speak our language. Our ceremonies were outlawed. So we became weak physically, spiritually, and emotionally, and automatically we became mentally weak. Those are the four parts of the self. Then Christian priests came and took advantage of that. This is the same process that cults and terrorists put their new recruits. They put them through these kind of things where they deprive their body of things that it needs. That's what happened to Indians. We were not allowed to eat healthy foods. We were not allowed to speak our language. We were not allowed to practice our ceremonies. So we were really hit physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And like I said, that's how we became weak-minded. And the priests took advantage of that, and they changed Lakota concepts into Christian concepts. So they changed the definition of Wakatanka to mean their Christian God. Wakatanka does not mean God. There is no one creator. People all over the world that really embrace Lakota spirituality, they don't want to have anything to do with Christianity, but then they say the Creator. They say Wakatanka, the Creator. They're still holding on to a one God concept. That's still duality. So even though they've shunned their Christian churches and are trying to follow Lakota spirituality, they're still looking at it through their Christian eyes by saying, Creator, Great Spirit, may the Great Spirit constantly bless you. See, we don't talk like this. This is not our way. That's a Christian way of talking. All they're doing is they're just looking at our way through Christian eyes. I have to point that out because there's people listening right now that believe that Wakantanka is the Great Spirit, the Creator. It's not. Absolutely not. It's an organization. There's many people in these organizations. We do not have a one God concept.
Duality, either them or us. Dualism is when you see things only in two perspectives, the one you like and the one you don't like. And you say the one you don't like is, they're the bad ones, they're the evil ones. We must prove that we are right, and then they will follow us. And if they don't follow us, then we must destroy them. Think of all the world's problems that are caused by that kind of thinking. That is duality. Dualistic world of black and white, you cannot see the rainbows. There is no peace that flows from within, nothing will ever grow. Lost in the emptiness of rights and wrongs, there is no harmony. Look to the west and to the stars,
To learn more about Lakota spirituality, I have written a book called Wichocha Otechige. This book also includes Lakota star knowledge information. All the videos that I make, which are about Lakota spirituality, Lakota star knowledge, and cultural information, are based on this book. This book costs 99 American dollars. This price includes the shipping cost. And to learn more about Lakota language, I have written a Lakota language book called Chante Etanha Owoglake, Speaking from the Heart. And all my Lakota language videos are based on this book. This book costs 119 American dollars. This price includes the shipping cost. And new for 2024, I have a new book titled Chekia, which means pray. This book includes a CD which has traditional Lakota prayers and traditional spiritual songs. This book cost 49 American dollars, and this price includes the shipping cost. I also teach online, and I give spiritual consultations as well. If you are interested in any of my services and products, you can send payment via PayPal to my email address, which is info@wolakota7.com. You can see the email address on the screen, and it's also in the video description below. When you send your payment, please include your shipping address and your email address. I do have a Patreon account, and you can see the link to that in the description below the video. Here you can also make donations to my channel, and you can also buy my products, my books, and my services concerning private Lakota language lessons and spiritual consultation or spiritual instruction. Again, you can see the Patreon link in the video description below. Ha, lila pilamayelo. Thank you very much. In the Lakota way, everything is circular. As a result, we do not have a word for goodbye in the Lakota language. And so instead we say until next time, which in Lakota is Doksha Ake. And I will catch you in the next video.